What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Professor Anime. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, everyone, I'm here to bring you all a video on Bungou Stray Dogs Season 2. This video is not really going to be a review of the newest episode that came out. It's actually going to be like a, pretty much an overall thoughts video on episodes 2 through 4 of Bungou Stray Dogs Season 2, otherwise known as episode 14, 15, and 16. I ended up doing a episode 1 review of Season 2. You can find it somewhere on my channel. I'll probably leave it in the description down below. And I basically gave my overall thoughts on what I thought about the season's premiere. Now, when it comes to this video isn't going to be necessarily a review of episodes 2 through 4 of Season 2 of Bungou Stray Dogs, but it's more or less going to be just my general overall thoughts. So, I just want to let you guys know beforehand, before you are wondering why, this video might seem a bit out of place compared to my reviews. So yeah, let's get this started. So where do I begin with Bungou Stray Dogs Season 2 thus far? Okay, this is really just going to be, pretty much Dazai's backstory. These first 4 episodes that we see of Bungou Stray Dogs is pretty much Dazai's backstory, which is, something that I'm really glad that we got, finally some, spotlight on, because when it came to Season 1 of Bungou Stray Dogs, we didn't really see Dazai's past at all, and I really wanted to see it, and we actually got 4 episodes on Dazai's past and how exactly he came to be the person he was in Season 1 of Bungou Stray Dogs. There is just one thing, I kind of had questions for as to why exactly, Dazai's past is being interpreted in this way, and that is Dazai's past is not really that much of a focus in these 4 episodes of Bungou Stray Dogs Season 2. More of the focus goes on to Otasaku, which happens to be one of Dazai's former friends, and in the Port Mafia, and the narrative and the perspective of Dazai's past is pretty much just all Otasaku. If anything, if we wanted to actually see more of a backstory with Dazai, we would want to see things from his perspective. But the narrative, the storytelling, and just the perspective in general from Dazai's past was pretty much just seeing through the eyes of Otasaku, what Otasaku was going through, and how the stuff in Otasaku's life ended up affecting Dazai, which in turn made Dazai the person, he was going to become in Bungou Stray Dogs Season 1 after the events in this backstory. And I'm pretty sure that some people can agree with me on the fact that these past few episodes, have been, while they have been set in Dazai's backstory, they're not really about Dazai's backstory. It's mainly about the new character, which is one of Dazai's closest friends, and seeing things from his perspective. And honestly, we got more characterization with Otasaku than we did with Dazai in this backstory, so it's hard to really even say that this is Dazai's backstory at all. But we do see things from Otasaku's perspective and how, the events in his life ultimately affected Dazai. So that was at least cool to some degree, and we got introduced to Otasaku, and he's a very likable character. I really like the guy, honestly. And what happened in episode 3? Damn. I seriously felt bad for the guy, and I remember, talking a little bit about this on Twitter, saying I just got done watching episode 3 of Bungou Stray Dogs, and the execution was spot on, in my personal opinion. When it came to episode 4, people said that episode 4 was just woo, mad hype, But honestly, I got more out of episode 3 of Bungou Stray Dogs Season 2 than I did episode 4. But yeah, I really felt bad for the guy because Otasaku has been a very likable character. We actually come to like him very quickly in these 4 episodes that we are only introduced to him in Season 2 of Bungou Stray Dogs. He's just very likable. He's a very cool individual. He has a cool ability. He doesn't want to kill anybody. He wants to become a writer. He's taking care of orphans. He's just an overall kind-hearted individual. And once those things are taken away from him, he then has no other choice but to revert to the act of killing, which we see in episode 4. And then we find out in episode 4 that the boss of the Port Mafia is actually in cahoots with the other organization known as Mimic. They at least try to make some sort of business deal together, but in turn, after we see the orphans end up getting blown up in that car and Otosaku witnesses this is what ends up changing Otosaku to, eventually end up killing people in episode 4 of Bungou Stray Dogs. But we find out that the Port Mafia technically ended up leaking out this information to Mimic just so for the sole purpose to provoke Otosaku into killing off Mimic's organization. And for the most part, Otosaku accomplishes that. For the most part, he even takes down Gide, which is, I believe that's how you pronounce his name, Gide, which is what we see in the final showdown in episode 4. That whole gun battle that goes about, that was a pretty cool battle to see. But this just shows you that how the Port Mafia is a corrupted place. It has a very corrupted leader, and this in turn is what makes Dazai ending up choosing a different path to walk, a path to walk to where he eventually saves people. And this is something that, Otosaku always wanted to do. He always wanted to help people, he wanted to save people, he never wanted to kill, but due to what the Port Mafia did and what Mimic did, he had to ultimately end up sacrificing his hopes and dreams of what he had for a beautiful, peaceful life into a life into which he just wanted revenge, because he just had enough with this. And this ultimately ended up crashing down upon Otosaku, and we see him die. And I like the sort of symbolism that is, hidden away with his ability, because his ability is called Flawless. And Dazai even stated that, to Ryunosuke, that Ryunosuke has nowhere in a chance to actually take down Otosaku at all. And we saw what happened in episode 2. I believe it was episode 2 where we see Ryunosuke get punched by Otosaku. One punch! And Otosaku takes that one punch to Ryunosuke's face, and Ryunosuke is just knocked out. He's done. He's on the ground. Done. So we can see how strong Otosaku is within this episode. Not only for his cool ability, his guns and all that, but also just the sheer amount of force he can, put in with a single punch. He took down Ryunosuke in one punch. It's insane, And when it comes to Dazai, on the other hand, Dazai doesn't even think that, he can take down Otosaku at all, because simply for the sole purpose that he has a great ability. And we know that the Port Mafia end up leaking out this information to Mimic to provoke Otosaku, because Otosaku was the key. Otosaku was the weapon, the only weapon that could actually take down Mimic's organization, for the most part. That was the only way that Mimic would be able to fall to the ground, and that was Otosaku. And for the most part, we end up seeing that. And also, Dazai also believes that the sole reason why he won't be able to ever take down Otosaku is because of the fact that he's just a so kind-hearted individual. He actually has, he wants a reason for living. He just seems like a very flawless individual, not only in his abilities, but also his character. And the only way that you're going to be able to take down someone who is flawless, you know, who seems perfect, is if that character ends up bringing down themselves in the process. No other character is going to be able to bring down a flawless, OP, or perfect individual. The only way on how they are actually going to be able to take down, you know, that character is by if that character ends up, you know, changing in some way that ends up, you know, exposing a weakness. And that is what we see in episode 3 of Bungou Stray Dogs Season 2. So when you think about it, Otasaku's character, when it comes to the creation of his character, you know, had a lot of meaning behind it, especially when it comes to his ability, hence the name Flawless, you know. And when it also comes to Otasaku's character, I believe it was stated that, or actually, yeah, from the last episode of what we see in Dazai's backstory, which is episode 4 of Season 2 of Bungou Stray Dogs, you know, we see that when it comes down to it, Otasaku was technically the only one who could really see and acknowledge Dazai, and who completely understood Dazai to some level. Because when it came to Dazai really thought he didn't really have that much to live for. He simply went with the flow with things, you know. But after the death of Otasaku is where we really see a change in Dazai, and how he ultimately decides things for himself to actually continue on living. If you look back on the episode, and from episodes 3 and 4 of Bungou Stray Dogs, Otasaku was someone who wanted to, you know, just live a peaceful life. He wanted to go about living and doing the stuff he enjoyed doing, while also caring for the needs of other people. And that is what he states to Dazai as he is dying. He's saying, please, as a friend, live a life, you know, with meaning behind it. Live a life for others, not only for yourself, but also for others. Don't be controlled by what people do, because this will end up, you know, bringing about your downfall, you know, in a way. And that is what Dazai does. You know, after like 2 weeks later after those events, we end up seeing Dazai, you know, out of the Port Mafia and living a life of his own, and where we eventually see him go into the Armed Detective Agency. I almost forgot that name for a second, so yeah. But yeah, when it comes to these past few episodes of Bungou Stray Dogs, I actually have really been liking them. I really liked Otasaku's character, how the meaning behind his character in general and his ability actually ended up affecting, you know, Dazai. You know, there was a lot of meaning in this little backstory, and I can see why we got the focus of Otasaku. But if you really think about it, it was really just Otasaku's backstory and not really Dazai's backstory. While Dazai was in there, and while we do see a slight change, you know, mainly the focus was on Otasaku in this little backstory. But I'm not complaining. I really like the episodes. So, yeah. Thanks for watching this video. I know it's late. I deeply apologize for that. Again, I've just been pretty busy when it comes to stuff, so it's been hard to actually get any videos out there, honestly. I know a lot of you have been asking me on Twitter, when's the Bungou Stray Dog reviews coming out? And just know that I'll get to the videos when I get to the videos. You know, sometimes life gets in the way and it's hard to actually make time for YouTube and other stuff like that. But I will eventually get to them when I get to them, just like I did for this video. So please keep that in mind. It's not that I gave up on the series or anything. It's just, you know, I've been busy. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you all for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below on what you thought about these past few episodes of Bungou Stray Dogs. And hopefully for tomorrow I can actually get review out for episode 17, I believe it is, for Bungou Stray Dogs. So look forward to that. I'll try my very best to get a video out there for you all. But until then, I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace.